And as always, I never get tired of hearing my generation from our good friends at OnLap. So go check out OnLap on YouTube. You can use their songs copyright free. They support small streamers. I'm very glad that they only did, but as you can see from the comments, they got reached out to by yourself, Carl, and they were more than happy to allow us to use that song. And then we sent them the link. So they have checked out Beats and Beatdowns. Really happy because they make some incredible tunes that you wouldn't expect to be able to use for free.
It is absolutely fantastic, and I love that they have allowed us to use it. I know that they put out there that, it's copyright free, anybody can use it, but still, I wanted to make sure that we were being professional enough. And yes, I reached out to them via email, and I have had email correspondence with them where they said, we are thrilled that you want to use our music, and yes, please go ahead and use it.
Yeah, so I encourage everybody to go out and support them and any other artists that do the same. Again, I use multiple versions of OnLap songs throughout the work that I do, as well as somebody that they've worked with creatively. Nick Ira is another one that I use regularly. You'll hear some of his music on Fusioned on Thursday nights with myself and Papa Spokes. And again, he has a song that he does with the guys in OnLap. So go check out any artists like that and support them, because we're all about the music. We're all about the beatdowns as well, too, when it comes to professional wrestling and music here on Beatdowns, as we go on a journey, an A to Z catalog journey, cataloging every single bit what we can find when wrestling and music come together. And we're talking all things there. And we got a big one coming up after today. Today being the letter P, and that is for Pitbull. Next week, though, we've got our big Q&A. So we support everybody coming and giving us your questions. Whether your question is just music related, just pro wrestling related, or when the two worlds collide, send them our way, and we are going to try to get to as many of those questions and answer them as honestly as possible and get that discussion going. So make sure that you get a hold of us and let us know what kind of questions you want to see on next week's episode of Beats and Beatdowns. But we're going into the letter P, and that is going to be for Pitbull. We know Pitbull, he's got some major connections with the WWE, and he has done a lot with professional wrestling. In fact, if it were for professional wrestling, I don't know that I would necessarily know who Pitbull was. I might have heard of him. I don't know if I'd be able to make the connection to the music. And it's thanks to wrestling that I can say I definitely know Pitbull's music. And after this episode, I know it just a little bit more.
Pitbull is a man named Armando Christian Perez, who has probably been heard by a lot more people than they are even aware of. Pitbull has lent his voice and his style to a lot of different collaborations with other artists over the years as well. So when you go and hit up the clubs and you start hearing some good kind of music, some dance music that's playing, probably there's some Pitbull in there, or even a little bit of Pitbull influence in that music as well.
Yeah, and I mean, we talk very heavily, being rock and metal fans ourselves, about the way people use different instruments in order to produce something or be able to get their message out there. And Pitbull does that in a completely different way. Again, he is more DJ based. He does his music more on a pop level, which definitely is a little bit different than what you do with an electric guitar or anything of the sort. But he does have a signature of music. His signature is seen in so many different styles, collaborating with different artists, like you say. And it is through that he has a great voice within the world of music today.
It definitely is. And I mean, Pitbull is a guy who has gone out there and just has not quit. So now you may be wondering why the name Pitbull. Of everything that you could do, ACP would have been really cool as well. Armando Christian Perez would have been ACP. That would have been pretty cool as well. But the reasoning behind this, he actually spoke about in his biography, where he says that Pitbull's bite to lock. The dog is too stupid to lose, and they're outlawed in Dade County, Florida, where he originates from. They're basically everything that I am, and it's been a constant fight.
Okay, that makes total sense, and I applaud him for going that direction. Then, I mean, when you can give true meaning behind the use of some sort of name you're going to use, a stage persona name, and you can back it up that strongly, that is kudos to him for going that way.
Right? I was just blown out of the water when I read that from him, that for him to have that insight into his professional career outside of who the person was when they were born, to being someone that is going to be in the limelight of the fans and of pop culture, because he is huge when it comes to pop culture. So for him to have that level of smarts, to know that if I take this this dog, that's because that's it's a pit bull, it's a dog, and for him to use that to his advantage and have that story behind it is almost inspiring.
Yeah, it really is. And you talked about it before, the fight and the not quit kind of attitude there. And again, that speaks wonders about his career as well, too. Talking about a guy no quit. This isn't a guy who came out, was put into the world of pop music and instantly made and pushed to be a star. He had to fight to where he got. Again, debuting in, I believe, 2004, at least that was his major debut, was 2004, his album Miami. But it wasn't until his fourth album that he finally got his true breakthrough, and that was with the hit song I Know You Want Me. And that's where people started to really recognize Pitbull, understand him, know his music, and man, it's just gone big time from there. Of course, I'm also going to mention about his connection to Another World. I enjoyed that, Soccer, right away, but I first want to get your thoughts on that fight, that gap of 4 albums before he really tasted that success.
That really shows a dedication and a love and passion for the craft and for what he's doing, right? So even for like you and for myself, right? Like we've been in the world of broadcast for many years now. I know for myself, it started back in 2015. We are now 2023. It's been a very long and arduous journey. And for him to go through all of that time before reaching I don't want to say a full success, but the start to the success is amazing. Just to continue to have that fight and that dedication to continue to hone his craft and make it work.
Yeah, and again, as you were saying, again, you've been doing this since 2015, me a couple of years later, and you put in all this work and all that time. And again, we had this conversation earlier today before we went on recording. And sometimes you think you're doing your absolute best work. And I'm sure some of the work that he was producing, to him and maybe to some people who really dig deep into music, might have been some amazing, incredible work. But for whatever reason, it wasn't clicking with the masses, and the mental strain that puts on a person. Am I doing this for the right reasons? Am I going to get through to people? Am I entertaining people? And that's what it becomes. You want to entertain them. You want to make that connection to people, and to be able to still put yourself through that and say, I've got to be there. Obviously, some people are connecting with it. Eventually, the world will start connecting. And that's what they did. And again, when I Know You Want Me came out, that's when it exploded for him. The world started listening. And then talk about being put on the world stage. We're talking about the World Cup of soccer, football, soccer, whichever country you're from and how you call it. In 2014, the official World Cup theme song was the song We Are One, Ole Ola. And perfect, Ole, being used in that capacity, our local establishment. But yeah, in 2014, to be asked to be part of FIFA's World Cup in that way, man, that really escalated Pitbull to a whole new level.
It definitely did, because that's a grand stage right there. When the World Cup is going on, the majority of the population's eyes are fixated on those games and on what is happening during that entire series of what's going on. So to get that type of recognition for the council there to say, hey, we want this person, we want this song to represent what we are doing here, is astronomical.
Yeah, and I believe too that like I had heard songs from him utilized in the FIFA games. Of course, I'm a big obsessed fan when it comes to the world of soccer. I'm a player slash coach, played for many years, coached for many years as well too. So being that involved and playing the games as well too, you start to hear all this different types of music, and I know that his stuff isn't usually in my field house, but sometimes I'm sitting there, I find myself, just getting into the groove of some of the things I hear. I can't help it. It's music. It's what happens. And I noticed that a lot with the FIFA games, and a lot of that stuff did involve Pitbull at times as well, too.
Yeah.
So he has had a massive impact on multiple different forms of pop culture, especially from things that I love and I'm excited about. I know we're going to get into the wrestling side here very, very soon. But again, anything on the musical side before we tie in the wrestling?
Well, before we tie in the wrestling, I want everybody to know that Pitbull is not just a musician.
Yeah, yes, there we go.
Right? So he's a very savvy businessman as well, and he's got a line of fragrances for men and women. He has a TV developmental company. He has partnerships with Kodak, with Voli Vodka, and with Bud Light as well. So having all of those different aspects of things that he has gone through outside of being a musician has really been a help, not only for him but for these other companies as well. At one time, he was actually asked for his best investment tip, and I'll put this out there for everyone as well. His response was, "Don't be afraid to lose. Listen and always invest in yourself." Such amazing words coming from that. The man has millions of downloads of his music. He's a pop culture icon with, well, for now at least, we will say 17 million Twitter followers. Considering we have no clue what's going to be happening with Twitter, as Elon Musk has decided to just go and run rampant and start changing a whole bunch of everything, with possibly not being allowed to even showcase his music from other different social media sites on Twitter. It'll be interesting to see if those 17 million followers that he has continues to stay on that platform.
At the rate things are going right now, Carl, we're talking about this because we're pre-recording, but by the time this episode airs, who knows? It might be a platform that doesn't even exist anymore. So I guess we'll just have to wait and find out. But man, things are going crazy over there in the social media world. And again, I imagine that investment advice that Pitbull delivered is probably a little bit more inspiring than what some people would hear from good old Elon Musk when it comes to investment advice at the moment.
Right? Oh, yes. So what has he done when it comes to the world of professional wrestling?
Well, what hasn't he done? Because we talk time and time again about, the ultimate, thing when it comes to a connection with pro wrestling is being able to perform on a live performance at WrestleMania. And Pitbull has done this. Outside of his songs being used various times within WWE, he was the official WrestleMania 33 song, and he got to perform that live at WrestleMania 33 along with Flo Rida and Lucha Money Lewis. And again, I remember this thing playing over and over and over again to the point where I was like, I don't know. At first, I thought it was catchy. Now it's getting annoying. But then I saw them having their fun at WrestleMania and enjoying themselves. And it got me back into it. It goes, okay, it's not their fault that WWE played this 7,000 times in the last couple of weeks. they are just excited and happy to be able to be there in that live capacity and be a part of that audience. And I was happy for them as well too. And again, Pitbull getting to be in front of that wrestling audience and to perform his music. I mean, I couldn't imagine. It would be an absolute honor, and it must have been, because that's something you will never take away from that man's career, is that he has forever been stamped in the world of professional wrestling on a WrestleMania, clearly the biggest event when it comes to pro wrestling.
Definitely was. There were 4 people that were there. You spoke of Flo Rida. I kind of like the name that you gave this person instead, but we're talking Lunch Money.
Lunch
Lewis.
Money. I'm thinking
I kind of liked Lucha Money though.
I like that too,
worked as well. Stephen Marley, and showcased by Pitbull at WrestleMania. That's, for us in the professional wrestling world, that is the top of the top for anyone outside of the business. That's like the... Okay, so I'm going to put this out there on this episode right now, and I hope that maybe something like this can happen. We have a football team, an American football organization known as the NFL. They have a showcase called the Super Bowl. WrestleMania is essentially the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. I understand that WrestleMania already spans over a period of 2 days, but what if we were to scale things back a little bit and maybe include a better showcase for these artists in almost like a halftime show on WrestleMania?
I mean, clearly that they got a little bit away from that, or distance from it, especially with lockdowns and stuff like that over the last couple of years. But now that they're getting back into things, it would be good to see. We know that they're going to Hollywood this year. There's going to be that influence, of course. But again, there's music in Hollywood. A lot of these artists contribute music to various movies and stuff like that too. So it would be great that if we got to see some amazing performances. And again, you know, we talk about Pitbull being able to do it. It doesn't matter who, just get back to that aspect. Like you say, the Super Bowl of professional wrestling. And if you had a halftime show to break up the wrestling aspect of it and have some fun, be able to go out there. We've seen bands do it in the past, and it's just an awesome time. Whether you're a big fan of that particular artist or not, it's fun to have a spot in the show where you can just kick back and like, oh yeah, let's groove to some music. This is what been pumping me up, been playing during all the promotions. Let's just have some fun with this.
And I really would like to see something like that happen, so that we get maybe, you know, a 10 or a 12-minute set out of these artists instead of 3 or 3.5 minutes.
Yeah.
You're right. You are a fan of music. I am a fan of music. You are a fan of pro wrestling. I am a fan of pro wrestling. And to see these two things scissoring together is absolutely fantastic. And I want to see a little bit more of a showcase, especially. I'm not a huge fan of Pitbull, but I would have sat there during the pay-per-view, watching it at home, and absolutely grooved out to a 10 or 12-minute set from Pitbull. I would have.
I don't always pretend to be the biggest fan of who's doing the performances all the time. I don't necessarily sit down and listen, but it's WrestleMania, so I don't use this as my opportunity to take, you know, a break to go to the bathroom or anything like that. I want those performances. I could take the bathroom break when somebody's going on and harping on about what's happened on the TV programming for the last 2 weeks that eats up enough damn time on those shows. I want the performance. I want to be engaged in something entertaining, and that's what WrestleMania delivers. And that's why when we can get these musical performances there, which fingers crossed this year, Triple H, come on, man, let's do her. And, you know, that excites me. It really does excite me. I'm not a big football fan, but I'll watch the halftime show.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And you want to talk about entertaining? Well, how about we talk about the most entertaining and most electrifying man in, well, I guess now we can say all of entertainment, when Pitbull And the Miami Heat dancers joined The Rock back in 2011 for The Rock's birthday celebration in Miami-Dade, Florida. That was pretty cool to see as well. The Rock actually introducing Pitbull to come out, introducing him as Mr. 305 or Mr. Worldwide. I'm sorry, Titus. I'm sorry. that was just a really cool thing that happened that was almost seemingly unexpected to happen, and it felt really cool to be able to have experienced that, just to know that there's still the availability for a crossover between the pop culture world, the music world, and the professional wrestling world.
Yeah, and again, it never hurts to have a friend like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at any point in time in your career.
Right.
Again, if I could have a friend like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I'd be pretty okay with that. Again, it never helps to get that kind of a bump from somebody within the industry. And again, like you say, the most electrifying man in all of entertainment, wrestling, movies. We've even seen The Rock concerts. So I mean, arguably, he's crossed over to music himself too, so he knows a thing or
True.
two, especially when introducing artists as well too. But he knows what he's got, an incredible artist on his hand, and that's what he had with Pitbull, and why he was probably very excited. I mean, I can't speak for Dwayne Johnson, I don't know him personally, but I'm sure he was excited to be able to stand out there and introduce Pitbull.
Right. And Pitbull himself, he was just so humble when he came out there as well. Like, he came out very, very classy, very humble to start out with, and then pumped up the crowd and got, then after, about a minute and a half, the Miami Heat cheerleaders came out, or dancers, sorry, not cheerleaders, the Miami Heat dancers come out, and then it just pumps up the crowd even more to see these beautiful women dancing and Pitbull singing, and Pitbull really playing to the Dade crowd that was there. It was just really, really fantastic to see.
Yeah, what a great opportunity. I mean, we talked about how great the WrestleMania one was, but again, being able to be there with Dwayne Johnson. I mean, that Dwayne Johnson is WrestleMania himself. I mean,
Right?
his popularity is right up there. I mean, it's a, Dwayne Fest, I'm pretty sure would draw just as many people at this point in time.
So, who else within the pro wrestling world has had the honor of introducing Pitbull? Yeah, I'm gonna throw it that way.
You throw it my way, and I don't know if I even got this tidbit. So again, I'm gonna have to rely on Mr. Fax Carl Carafel to give everybody the info on that one, because I definitely am not coming up with the info this time.
Well, there were rumblings and speculations and rumors suggesting the presence of this person in Saudi Arabia. And yes, this person actually did show up. And I'm talking The Undertaker, who said during the day before, okay, so the day before WWE's Crown Jewel in 2021, he actually appeared at the Pitbull concerts that was happening over there. He really just came out there. He came out there in the as the Undertaker, and says, "It is my extreme honor to introduce to you a man that is known around the world. He is Mr. 305. He is Mr. Worldwide. He is the Grammy award-winning international superstar. Let's put your hands together and make some noise for Pitbull." And that was all during Pitbull's I Feel Good tour in Saudi Arabia. So you've got, working with on WrestleMania, you've got working with The Rock, you're getting a rub from The Undertaker. How long until we see Pitbull in the WWE Hall of Fame now?
Well, of course, he got to go into the celebrity wing. I mean, some of the people that are in there, I mean, come on, Pitbull's at least done more than what any of them have done. And at least it seems like people there respect and like him more than some of the people that are in that celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. So, yeah, it's a guarantee. I mean, at some point in time, especially while he's still, very active and everything like that, that they've got to do it, and they've got to respect the lineage of what he's provided to professional wrestling and put him there. I mean, it's, WrestleMania is around the corner. We don't know. Maybe not this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, considering it's in Hollywood. Yeah.
Yes.
California instead of, Florida. Yeah. So
but
who knows?
Dwayne might be there.
Who knows? Right?
That's right. Maybe that's the way they get Dwayne back. I don't know. Like, they get Pitbull and Dwayne as a packaged policy.
Yeah. I really have nothing else on.
That's fair.
On Pitbull. I mean, he's done quite a bit in the world of professional wrestling, and I mean, even a lot more than even some of the other stars that we've actually talked about during our time with Beats and Beatdowns. And I was actually a little flabbergasted because, again, Pitbull isn't somebody that I listen to on a regular basis. But to know now that he's done this much with the WWE, I was blown away.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. He's done so much in pop culture in general and made himself quite the star. And it's been interesting to go down this career as well too, because again, we challenge ourselves to go outside our comfort zone outside of what we normally listen to, and challenge ourselves with ones like this. And I'm glad we did. I like learning about these artists, whether they're somebody I normally listen to or not. I still enjoy the work, which brings us to this portion of the show, Carl, where we got to find out what each of us found out in terms of a song that stands out for us. I'm going to go first, again, because I love movies as well, too, as you've maybe seen me do a few reviews from time to time. I really like the song Back in Time that he had managed to do for the Men in Black 3 soundtrack. Again, might be one of the better things about Men in Black 3 was that particular song from Pitbull.
Yeah. No, I definitely that's an amazing song. I didn't even think about that one, to be honest with you. And again, Pitbull lending his talents to other areas as well into the movies. Jeez.
Yeah. I have to throw the movie reference in there. I like movies.
Hey, no, that's okay. I enjoy watching music videos. And one of the ones that I enjoyed the most was a collaboration, not even a collaboration, but a song that he did featuring John Ryan. And the song is called Fireball. I really enjoyed that song. That really took a lot of kind of mariachi band influences and just some pretty downright sick beats going on. Go and check that song out, whether you just listen to the audio. I guarantee it's going to get you pumped up. And if you're a guy, you're going to enjoy watching the video for Fireball. In the video as well, they even throw in some movie type of stuff as well, kind of including some Who Framed Roger Rabbit references as well.
That's a wascally wabbit.
Yeah, right. Right? My tongue got all tied. Jeez.
Man, what a classic movie that is as well, too. But man, Pitbull's had quite the career, and very glad that we got to go there. And, if go out and check these songs out and let us know what you think in the comment section. Speaking of the comment section, Carl, we mentioned earlier in the show, next week we have our famous Q&A episode, because finding something for Q was kind of tough. So this is your opportunity to ask Carl and I anything you want. It could be music related. It could be related to pro wrestling. It doesn't have to be where the two cross over. We want to talk to you guys about all of our love for both sides of things. And then if it does happen to cross over, if there's a blend between the two, maybe you want to talk about specific episodes of Beats and Beatdowns that you enjoyed, or what you'd like to see on the show sometime as well, too. We want to hear from you. So reach out to both myself and Carl. And in doing so, you could just check out the ticker down below. As long as we're still, hopefully we can still say these kinds of things. I mean, there might be some crossover there that doesn't work anymore. But again, you'll be able to find me, reach out to me, ask me anything as well, too. And then also, Carl, they're going to be able to do the same for you as that ticker ticks along the low. Let them know where people can find you.
Easiest place is to check out Linktree. That's going to take you to all the available socials that I have at that time.
Yeah, see, you can keep it under wraps, and then Elon doesn't know. He doesn't get to watch in on that one. Hopefully, who knows? By the time this airs, we
Right.
could be in a different ball game altogether. So please, Elon, don't screw us. But that's where you'll be able to find us, and we're looking forward to that Q&A episode. And again, we have a few more episodes of Beats and Beatdowns coming at you this season, including our live season finale with our very special guest, and we're going to be doing. Let's let them know T for the territories. So again, we're bringing in somebody that's very knowledgeable when it comes to the territories and the music used during that time. So it's going to be great to have that discussion. First time ever that we're having someone join us here on Beats and Beatdowns. So I'm looking forward to that. But Carl, that brings us to an end of this particular episode. Q is coming up next. We hope you enjoyed this. We hope everybody stays safe, stays wonderful to each other, love each other, and also love music, love pro wrestling.
I think I'm going to end things off this episode just with something that I found from Pitbull that I found quite inspiring. He actually says, "There's nothing owed to you in life. Those who make it work hard for it."
Beautiful. Awesome. To you, Pitbull, rock on, my brother.